Hi, welcome back to Tao of Twang. I'm Dave. Thanks to all the new subscribers. We're so welcome that you're joining us on this journey. And thanks to everybody else that's been leaving feedback and really helping shape the direction of the channel and what we're going to do on here. I appreciate the kind words from many of you. But I really enjoy hearing about you and where you're at and what breakthroughs you're making and stuff. Right? That's really cool, and that's kind of why I do this. I really enjoy just myself and others feeling like, wow, I've been kind of doing the same thing for a while, and today something just started happening. I love that feeling. So what we do is present a set of core skills on this channel. And then we use them to improvise with our guitar. So, and that we have a specific mission, right? We could do some videos where I teach a popular song or something like that. I enjoy that myself. I do that on other channels on YouTube myself a lot. This is really about learning to improvise and find your own musical personality and language at any level where you are. Okay, so it's more conceptual. Now we show nuts and bolts stuff. We do push-ups and sit-ups on here. That's how you get there. But as far as how you apply that, that's kind of the open aspect of this method, right? You apply it in the way that feels right to you. Okay. So today, this video will begin a short series on improvisation, of course, where we really combine the three main elements in music. And those are progression, or the chords, okay, to a song, the melody, which could be the vocal line, could be the bass line. If you listen to a lot of popular music, it's interesting because the bass line a lot of times is very similar to the vocal line. Check that out next time you're in the car or something. Just see if that's accurate. Especially in classic rock, I guess, 60s and 70s rock. So we've got progression, the chords, the melody, and that's the guitar solo. Also, when we're soloing with an instrument, that's melodic, right? Those two elements, and then rhythm or cadence or the timing and feel of it. Okay, so three elements. We can boil them down to, we can just name them something simple: chords, melody, and timing or feel. Okay, so a lot of you liked that loop that I used on that last video about the swinging eighth notes. So I doctored it up a little bit with some keys and a little bit of a mix on it. The chords are, starts on A minor. Kind of jumps that D a little bit. Now, let's talk about the first one of those elements, the chords. Well, those are the chords. And on your practice loop at the end of this one, I'll have the chords on a little chart, while you're improvising. So we got that, A minor, G, D. Along with that, well, what key is that? Or, if we move to the next element, melody, well, what scales and stuff are going to go with that, right? Now, after a certain point in your guitar development, you can almost just kind of fish out, you have so much muscle memory that you kind of, on a simple progression like this, you kind of just find your niche, and and if you're already experiencing that, that's great. But doesn't hurt to have a little bit of a theory too, right? So if we break this down pretty quickly, most progressions, there's almost always there's more than one way to analyze the progression and find what key it is and so forth. So there's not just one right answer to that. One way to address this progression that's very nice and sensible is that it's really in G. It starts on A minor, but say that it's in A minor, and you could use that as your theory for what scales you're going to use. But let's try this, like the second chord in G, A minor. Don't worry about all the background on that at this moment. But like if you're playing the G scale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1. So if you use those bass notes, that's what it means when you see those numbers on these charts, right? That's the second chord in G, based off the second note of the scale. And that's the fifth one. Okay, like I said, don't get too wrapped up in that right now. Let's just test this theory of playing a G scale over this progression, even though it starts on A minor and ends on A minor. See if it works. It's really what you're doing is you have a theory and then you test it. Okay, I don't know about you, but I'd say that passes the first trial, right? Now I used a couple different positions of G, right? Maybe you learned it like okay, whatever the case is. And you want to experiment with that, going through different positions of it. The one that I'm going to put up here is this position where the G's are, okay, those are the red dots on the diagram, the roots. If you play all the notes in that G scale sequence, but start here and stay in this position, it's these notes. It's actually the same notes everywhere, the sequence, but it's these locations. Let's see if that works. G major, starting and ending on different notes sometimes. Starts feeling good, you just want to veg out. That's what this is all about. So there's two of our three essentials: chords, melody. We now have a theory that we're pretty sure is going to work about what one choice anyway of scales to use over that. And since it's a G major scale, that G major pentatonic should also just lay right over that. Let's test that. Then we'll get into some of the timing stuff. That's working out too. Got our chords, a progression, got one good way to address it in terms of scales or note sequences, patterns. And so timing, okay? The last two videos before this one really get into it with the, counting and different note values. And that second one about the eighth note swing is really kind of an essential skill for feeling in popular styles. So you can check those out. I'm going to make a couple of suggestions about timing choices and things that you can experiment with while you're using this other theory to compose an improvised solo. So if you didn't think that you were going to compose an improvised solo today, well, you probably are. And it's probably going to happen quicker than you think. So I'm just going to kind of talk out loud a little bit while I'm going here and give you some ideas of how to sort of switch around with different note values. So let's stay up in this position of G and do some quarter notes. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, there at the end I did just some other little ideas, they just seemed like they would go there or something. Eighth notes. Now those are swung, those are swing eighth notes. So let's do a little experiment. What if we did like 4 quarter notes or some quarter notes going up and then eighth notes going down? Doesn't necessarily have to be even measures. You get to start anywhere you want in the progression too. Let's try it. Okay, so I did a little bending and stuff in there. Does that make sense? No, that's starting to go places pretty quick. Here's what just happened. We got our chords. We got that scale. And we've got different feel ideas or rhythms, and we're deliberately, intentionally switching them, right? Because when you practice a lot of scales and things, sometimes you just kind of go on autopilot. You just kind of, I do it all the time when I'm showing it to you all. I'll just go, nothing wrong with that. But that, you want to quickly make sure that you're trying out different things. What about the triplet? Remember that one? If not, it's in the previous videos. Dun, 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 triplet, triplet. picking and hammers come somewhere in that process where this other stuff is already kind of figured out. Oh, I've got something going on. Okay? What I mean by that is that you're already surfing. You're up on your board and you're surfing, and now you're just kind of cutting back and, putting a little style on it, right? But you're in the flow, you're up, and you're not having to pay attention to every aspect of like what scale you're playing and stuff at that point. Okay? If you do feel like you're having to kind of pay attention to all this stuff all at once, that's normal for the stage that you're at. But the more you practice and the more you let yourself go and settle into that, the phenomena that I just described will start happening more often. So that's kind of the process of practicing that we use. Okay. I also did some triads here and there mixed in there. There's several videos on that, but some of the stuff where I kind of traced, the notes of the chord, like A minor. Back to E, see? Now, I'm moving around a lot, not just right here. But hang out there at first and put all this stuff together. This is it. This is, you're there. Okay? If all this stuff doesn't fall into place for you right away, don't worry. Be patient with yourself. Do some side work on a few skills. Watch some of those other videos and come back to this. But this is where the rubber hits the road for improvisation, right? Those three elements: chords, melody, and feel, and rhythm, and timing. And you can do this. You can, it's not something like, oh, I got to learn all this stuff in a certain order, one piece at a time, and then someday I'll play up. No. Today's the day. And wherever you are, slow it down and just let it happen, right? Go back and watch it a couple times. Look at the diagrams. Thank you so much. I will put your practice loop up here, and please let me know how you're doing. Welcome again to everybody that's new to the channel, and blessings. Till next time.